Imagine walking into your office, and suddenly everything shuts down: the lights, the computers, even the coffee machine. Panic spreads, deadlines are at risk, and nobody knows what to do. But then, a single dad steps in with just his toolbox, and in minutes, he changes everything. And just when you think the story is over, his little daughter whispers something that shocks everyone in the room. If you love heartwarming and inspiring stories like this, make sure to subscribe to our channel, share this video with your friends, and leave a comment below telling us what touched you the most. Let's get started. The office was steeped in an uneasy silence as everyone stared at the dead generator. No one knew what to do, and the tension grew with every passing minute. Urgent reports, critical emails, even the security systems depended on that machine. That's when Javier, a single father with a calm, confident presence, walked in holding his little daughter's hand. Without saying much, he set down his toolbox and began inspecting the generator with the kind of focus that only comes from deep knowledge and experience. Every movement seemed deliberate, precise, and purposeful. Sophia, barely 6 years old, watched him closely, her eyes wide with curiosity and admiration. She had seen her father fix impossible things before: the neighbor's broken bicycle, cars that no mechanic could repair, even household appliances that had long been abandoned. Javier had a knack for making the impossible seem simple, and Sophia followed every twist of his hands and turn of his tools as if she were witnessing magic. The employees around them couldn't help but marvel at his skill, a mixture of awe and relief filling the room as the generator slowly began to respond under his hands. Every turn of a bolt, every adjustment of a fuse seemed to breathe life back into the office. Murmurs of amazement rippled across the floor, and some employees discreetly pulled out their phones to capture the moment. Javier wasn't just fixing a machine, he was restoring the pulse of the office itself. And yet, it wasn't only his technical skill that drew attention, but his patience, his calm demeanor, and the way he treated his daughter with respect, letting her watch and learn without ever shooing her away. Finally, with one last twist, the generator roared to life. Lights flickered back on, systems rebooted, and the office seemed to exhale collectively. Applause erupted, a mixture of relief, admiration, and disbelief. Everyone had witnessed something remarkable, yet no one anticipated what would happen next. Sophia, holding her father's hand, approached Valeria, the office manager, and leaned in to whisper something that made everyone freeze. "She's my mom. Marry her." The office fell silent. The innocence of a child had transformed a tense moment into one of heartwarming surprise. Valeria looked at Javier in disbelief, then down at Sophia. Feeling an unexpected warmth rise in her chest, there were no words, just the unspoken truth in that simple statement. Javier smiled, a little embarrassed, but his eyes sparkled with emotion. He understood that this wasn't just child's play, it was a reminder that life had its way of connecting people in the most unexpected ways. The sincerity of a child could express what adults sometimes struggle to articulate. The rest of the morning passed with laughter and quiet glances. The office resuming its normal rhythm, yet carrying an energy that no one could ignore. There was a subtle joy lingering in the air, a mixture of hope, warmth, and connection born from a single act of kindness. A story that began with a father fixing a generator had blossomed into something far deeper, a lesson in love, family, and the power of small gestures to bring people together in ways that change their lives forever. After Sophia's innocent whisper, the office was filled with a silence that felt heavy yet magical. Javier looked at Valeria, unsure whether to laugh or be overwhelmed by the moment. She, too, was caught off guard, her heart racing with a mix of surprise and warmth. For a fleeting second, the mundane office setting disappeared, replaced by a feeling that something extraordinary was happening. Sophia, sensing the tension, tugged at her father's sleeve and smiled, her little eyes sparkling, as if to say that the truth was simple: love doesn't wait for perfect timing. Valeria knelt slightly to meet Sophia's gaze, her expression softening. "Are you serious, little one?" she asked gently. Sophia nodded eagerly, her small hands clasped together, her voice unwavering. Javier's chest tightened. It was rare to see such candid honesty in someone else, and even rarer when it came from a child. He felt an unspoken bond form between himself and Valeria in that moment, an invisible thread spun by the sincerity of a little girl who saw what adults sometimes failed to recognize: that hearts belong together when they are ready. The employees, noticing the unusual exchange, slowly turned their attention back to work. But whispers of excitement and curiosity spread like wildfire. Everyone wanted to know if something more than a professional relationship was about to bloom in the middle of their office. Javier, regaining composure, took a deep breath and smiled at Valeria, extending a hand not as a coworker, but as someone willing to step into a new chapter of life. Her hand met his, tentative at first, then with growing certainty, as if affirming a connection they had both felt but hadn't dared to voice. Over the next few days, small gestures began to bridge the gap between them. Lunches turned into coffee breaks shared in quiet corners. Conversations that once revolved around meetings and projects now included laughter, personal stories, and dreams. Sophia often sat between them, her presence a reminder of the magic that had brought them together. She would occasionally nudge them toward each other with a mischievous smile, whispering playful hints that made them both blush. Every shared smile, every lingering look, strengthened the bond that had started with a simple act of help and a child's unfiltered wisdom. Weeks later, the office held a small celebration. The generator, now nicknamed Sophia's Miracle, had become a symbol of teamwork and hope. Javier and Valeria, side by side, addressed their colleagues with gratitude and quiet pride. Sophia stood between them, beaming, knowing she had played a part in something bigger than herself. The story of a single father fixing a generator had transformed into a story of love, trust, and unexpected family connections. It became clear to everyone present that life's most meaningful moments often arise when you least expect them. One afternoon, as the office hummed with productivity, Javier and Valeria found a quiet corner. He took her hand, looked into her eyes, and in a soft voice, said, "I think Sophia was right all along." She smiled, tears threatening to fall, and nodded. The little girl had not only bridged two hearts, but had reminded them that love sometimes speaks through the simplest, most innocent voices. From that day forward, they navigated life together. A family forged through unexpected kindness, courage, and the magic of believing in the impossible. The office generator was just a machine, but the lesson it inspired went far beyond wires and electricity. It reminded everyone that helping someone without expecting anything in return could spark more than gratitude. It could spark love, hope, and a life forever changed. And for Javier, Valeria, and little Sophia, every hum of the generator would forever echo the beginning of their new, joyful journey together.